Would you share the link in chat?
And give me a second. I'm going to put my headphones in. I was. Now can you hear me better?
Yes, I can hear you better. It's
Excellent.
look like you're going to sing a song.
So, Sonny, how are you today?
Fantastic as always. How about you? How's things are going with you?
Yeah, we're really, I'm really happy with the festival. This week I've been a little ill, so a little bit of a virus, so been in bed on Wednesday. So it's good to be up again. It's good to be kind of functioning. Um, I yeah, the over here it's getting very dark in the evenings. So it's, pretty soon it will be like dark in the morning and dark at night, and there's very little sunlight. So yesterday there was a bit of sun, so that was quite nice. Yeah.
Wow, that's good. Getting sunlight now, it's really great.
So tell me about where you are in the world.
I'm in the hot part of the world and the richest part of the world.
So where's that?
That's Middle East and the richest country of the world, Qatar.
Yeah, amazing, amazing. So what's it like in Qatar?
It's basically you see the culture over here, and I believe they are doing fantastic well. And I believe you know very well that there is a soccer World Cup coming 22 over there,
Oh, I did
Football
hear
World
that.
Cup.
Yeah, that's the one that Scotland will win.
Yes. And a lot of projects are going on, a lot of developments are happening. And even on the like COVID side, Qatar is doing fantastic well. Their cases are very limited and
Good.
almost everything is open. So that's
Yeah,
a good thing.
yeah, and yeah. So you got your track and trace system working?
Not exactly. So it's basically I don't do a lot of all those kind of things. Basically, I be just go with flow kind
Yeah,
of guy.
yeah. Me too. Me too. Good, good. Okay, so this is like we call them a town hall, but really just a chance to chat. And I'm conscious that a lot of our meetings are in the evenings in the UK time, so I wanted to do an early morning one. So if there was anyone in Asia, who wanted to chat and and just talk about the festival and what they're thinking about the festival or doing, this is a good time to do it. And yeah, streaming on Facebook as well, and we can record it for the website, so people can see it too. So you're an ambassador for Qatar, yeah. So what are you up to? What's evolving?
Update is basically there are a lot of things going on, and we I just added few more ambassador, one from South India just recently, and getting involved with a lot of peoples and looking ahead to conduct webinars and meetups with the peoples and leader in the region. That's what whole objective is.
Yes, yeah,
And
yeah, yeah,
yes, because the overall that let's make it as our motto is make it fun filled, right? So that is what I'm trying to give 2 cents in this region. And I believe just little bit of success, like being in touch with the number of peoples this week. And initially they say, oh, wow, agile reflection. Yes. And then they say, wow, it's going to be interesting, a whole month. And then say, wow, that's a different one. That's a different one.
yeah. One of the things that we did a little bit of strategy work last night, but one of the things we're looking at is the kind of the bridge building. So that's always been a key theme. So as you know, we've got about 200 speakers that have volunteered to speak. So some of those speakers would never have kind of arranged to talking at Qatar before. So actually, just making the relationship together bringing different groups together, and just having new discussions and new friendships. That's going to be such a huge part of this. Um, yeah, yeah,
This is going to be, and I'm looking forward to have some good leader from the area, right, who can talk on agiles and how their experience is about
yeah,
specifically in this region, right?
yeah, and that's a good point as well. If you can actually get those good speakers in your region into the speaker directory, then they could speak in other places. So, well, when we talk about inclusion and diversity, we've got this huge potential pool of people now, all together. So the ambassadors, figure very, very kind of heavily in our thinking. I think the ambassador approach and the kind of the month-long thing is something that's probably never been done before. Um, and what it really does is it gives you kind of local control. Yeah. And it also means that we can do something quite large, but we're doing it in small slices. Yeah, so you're just worried about the Qatar bit. Someone else next door is worrying about their bit, and then we've only got to do some small things together, and then when we add it all up, I think Grace last night was saying
Boom.
100. If 100 ambassadors put a couple of events on each, yeah, that's going to be quite amazing. I
It
see.
is going to be.
Yeah, I see Miles and Anurag. Do you want to come in, guys, and chat? Or?
Yeah, good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening. How you guys? It's Miles here from South Africa. I
Hi,
uh,
good to see you.
I have a dual role, which is ambassador for Southern Africa, and then I'm also a trustee on the festival committee, where we're working with some amazing people, including Anurag in the marketing team. So we're here to support the ambassadors in the marketing of uh, of of the festival in their particular region. So good
And
to
and
meet
that's
you.
and that's going well because almost anyone I talk to knows about the festival. So
Yeah, no, it is. It's
Yes.
picking up. It's definitely snowballing.
yeah, I know that we had a video last just put out from Alistair Coburn, and Alistair's his main comment on the festival, it's truly global. So
Yeah,
we're not. This isn't like a festival run from a particular company or a particular place. This is going to be a kind of a truly global thing. It's still a bit of an experiment, but um, and it's going to be interesting to see what kind of comes out of it in terms of ideas and friendships and things. But I'm really quite excited about it, as you can tell.
Hey, Miles. Good to see you, yeah?
you
Yeah,
too, Sunil. So if I picked up you in Qatar,
Yes.
okay, good man.
yeah.
Um, Yeah, I think the Middle East, particularly the Gulf region, and that. Um, I think there's a lot of opportunity to reach out and grow the agile community there. So having people like yourself here, and obviously the guys that we have in other parts of the GCC countries. You are part of GCC, eh?
Yes,
Good.
I'm part of GCC, and as you mentioned, Miles, it's a really great part to be and bring the Agiles community over here. Because when we talk about Agile, it's all about inclusions of everyone, right? Just bringing that mindset, that culture, we talk differently. We talk about open things, inspect and adapt, right? So it's of course great things around, and looking forward to make it a big things as a small slices and make it as a big one.
100%. And whatever, just in terms of, sorry, Scott, tell me to shut up if you need to.
Oh no, no,
um,
no.
how can we help you, Sunil?
You can help me with the things that when we talk on all those events, we have some guys from outside world also because sharing the thoughts of different area, right? That will help us, right? In the same way, like the some of the leader who talk from here to different regions. and mixing up those peoples, right, to talk about, to share their experiences, stories, that will help, right?
Something you just said there, Scott, but Sunil just said, I'm wondering if we couldn't ask each ambassador to recommend one thought leader in their area on Agile.
I love it.
And we get this global group of people having an open discussion as one of the first. I'm sure you most probably already thought about this, Scott, but
No, no, no,
having,
no, no.
yeah,
It's a really
so,
good idea.
yeah. So having people sharing ideas, so we get that truly global perspective because agile in each country is just a slight bit different to all over. How particularly when it comes into the different communities and the thoughts and beliefs of those communities. You've got a lot of communities where challenging leaders is frowned upon. So when you start talking about self-regulating teams, it's okay to say it, but you often find, and I know in Africa, and I think it's a little bit like that in India. I'd imagine also in most of the Arabic countries, Sunil, where the senior leader says something, and people just don't want to challenge them. Irrespective of how many times you tell them that you can challenge me, it's still frowned upon to challenge them. And maybe that's an area we need to address, especially if we talk about servant leadership. Is what is true servant leadership at the end of the day?
Very well said, Miles. In fact, I will say it's not about area, but it's about the people to peoples, right? What culture people are. Because if you see the GCC, right, specifically the Middle East part, it's a very vivid culture over here, right? I have seen almost 210 nationalities in UAE and Qatar, which is a huge one, right? So I will say it's depend upon which culture people are coming and how they are taking it. Because I met few of the leaders, they are really the true leaders, right? And they say, guys, let's change it, right? Let's make our employee first. I've seen those thoughts basically, yeah. And what I felt is the leader want to bring self-management, in fact, not only self-organization, but the self-management. This is our vision. Now you decide what you will be doing, how you will be doing. And that's really inspiring one when that kind of trust comes, right? So it automatically inspire people. But having said so, I have seen other way also that yes, leader says, here you go, you take steps, I'm standing in backside. But then people doesn't go back to them, right? Those people will, I don't know, miss that I struggle sometimes to find what stops them to ask questions. And for me, I don't find anything stopping them to ask questions. Question is good, right? So that is where I struggle sometimes to identify why people don't go back. If they need help, they say we need help. If they fail fast, and then be
Mhm.
open, be courageous, right? Because it's all about creating those hypotheses, validate quickly, and then take next step. But yes, I have seen both sides that leader be in front also, but leader want to go back, stand in backside, empower the peoples. But those people also need to take accountability and ownership. That is very important. Because as
Yeah.
a leader, how I see Miles is, of course, might be I can release all my authority. I want to empower the people. But is that really good way? Because let's assume I give all the power to a child and he want to go into fire. Shall I let him go? Right. So I always believe that empowerment can be given based on maturity of team. Right. It can be delegated, not everything together, because let's assume I have nuclear power. Shall I go and give guys try it? No, right? So based on based on majority of team, I like to delegate those empowerment. That is how I see.
I think that is something which I've seen that discussion happening so many times that people complain that they don't have the authority, and I'll not say the word authority, but not have the freedom or the way to do things that they want. But then if you give it to them, that at times they don't feel related, and then they don't feel the need to do it, because either they think that okay, even if I don't do it, it doesn't, I don't care, like nothing's going to happen, or this is not my company. If they don't have that feeling, then even if you give them all the freedom, they are not going to succeed. So yeah, I've seen that happen so many times. So hi
Well,
Sunil, so this is Anurag, and I'm, as Miles said, so I'm part of the marketing circle, and I've been working with both these leaders, Scott and Miles, for almost, I think, for 2 months now. And
It's
I've seen myself doing so many different kind of things in this period, and that is all apart from my normal day job. So I think that it's fun, and I think you also doing this or would be doing the same. There would be your main day job, but then you have volunteered to be an ambassador, and all the best to you.
thanks, Anurag. Thank you for warm welcome. And yes, basically, I'm crazy about agiles and all these things from long back. And I talk a lot about this. And this is the opportunity. I will say this festival is for everyone, and that is what I'm trying to bring. That people talks, right? There is nothing wrong. I don't feel there is anything wrong. Even if it is command and control, in some cases that work fine, right? So it's totally depends, and it's all about inclusion of everyone, bringing it with fun together, bringing a motto that how uh, we are thinking about agile in the world, right? And how to spread those right mindset. Because today, what I see might be you guys also noticed. How I say is there is Anurag Agile, there is Scott Agile, there is Miles Agiles, right? So that is the things which are different. Of course, that is good in some way, right? But I believe basic principles and values are still same.
It's actually a good point. One of the things that from listening to Alistair Coburn about the Snowbird meeting, lots of people came in with different viewpoints. About, they didn't have the word agile when they went in. They kind of came out with it, and I think they could have went two ways. I think that it was like adaptive or agile, and they went with agile, but it could have just been adaptive. And before that, they were talking about lightweight systems. So there was a kind of a bucket of things that were just trying to make things better and trying to kind of stop just all of the slowing down of work and everything else. So it's even that word agile was it was defined to some principles, but everyone in that area they just kind of agreed a common definition. Yeah. And I think that's the thing. Sometimes people get a little bit frustrated with what it is and how it pins down. My own background is I started in manufacturing when I was 17, working in a lab, and as part of that, they were actually making automotive parts, and those parts were part of the Ford Motor Company, and Ford Motor Company put me through statistical process control, and I found Deming, and Toyota and those concepts, and they really embedded in me at 17. Um, and then that manufacturing in the UK had a bit of a downturn then, and they kind of shut the factory. So then I went and worked in first of all, I worked at a bank, and then I went back to university, and I went to university and got education, and in the university, I studied business and computing, and came out and almost immediately went into project management. But the great thing about the project management aspect was we always kind of based it in, hey, Hubert, we'll have a word. I'm just finishing an anecdote, Hubert, about my early days. Um, but the keen thing of that is if anyone said to me what's your what's your agile, I'd always say it's very much based in systems thinking. I did when I went to university, I discovered soft systems analysis, which is an absolutely wonderful technique, and it's very visual. Again, the visual. It's very visual. It deals with human systems and things, and then when I got into agility, I started with the use cases book that Alistair Coburn did, which is probably his biggest book, and then almost I was doing agile before, and then the agile community kind of arrived, and when it came, I thought, well, this is a really good place because all the things that I took from Deming and all the things I took from Toyota and all the things that I took from soft systems analysis are all here. So it's human based, over and above. But if you were talking to me about what my agile was, I'm probably very based in flow, and that's probably the Toyota bit. I'm probably based in self management. That's the Deming bit. So Deming with it's management's job to leave people away and build the quality and allow the teams to build the quality and the human side. But my agile might be completely different from someone else who doesn't see the value in flow, doesn't see the value in human systems, and that's okay. I'm going to stop that anecdote because Hubert's here. Hey.
Hey,
Hey,
How you
it is
doing?
great to meet you, everybody.
And you.
Hi, Hubert.
So
My name is
Hello.
Hubert. Yeah, just go ahead. You try to ask what?
I was going to say, who are you? And tell the people who you are.
Sure. My name is Hubert. I am living in Korea, and then like you see, these people here working as a kind of working with the agile way, and then I used to be a leader of that team, and now I moved to a different team to build some product. So I am in charge of building a product at Samsung.
Samsung, yeah.
Yeah, which is
We've heard of
so it's a
Samsung.
thank you. It's a huge company in Korea, and then the biggest motivation for me to do agile is Samsung is obviously like one of the biggest companies in Korea. If it can be, I mean, agile can work in this big organization, that can be a good influence to other companies as well, and then that will affect like even like the ways of work, ways of study in a university. Or that's a Samsung phone. Thank you. Yeah. So yeah, that's what I've been doing for like the past 15 years, and now I'm more focusing on the product. But still, yeah, that's pretty much about me.
Excellent.
Okay. Again, great to meet you, everybody.
Yeah, no, it's great to have you as an ambassador. It's funny when I met Sunil the first time we met. I like meetups. I think meetups are great. And when we went into lockdown, we couldn't have physical meetups anymore.
Right.
So we had to have online meetups, and that really changed the character. So instead of where we'd have to physically get someone up to Edinburgh to a meeting, yeah, and then we'd all leave our offices and run across town to go to a meeting. Then we could open things up. So I think we had an event with Roman Pitchler. I think it was a great event. It was one of the best meetups
Yes.
I've ever had, and I just remember Sunil being arriving in the middle of the call. And it's amazing just to meet someone in Qatar, just just that. But so and again, with the festival, Roman's in the speakers list. So if you want Roman to kind of offer some other product people to come along and do a product talk, so you can actually make events for your own learning. Yeah,
Sounds good.
yeah,
And I believe Scott keep on doing those meetups, and that's what I always admire Scott. Whenever I think about Scott, only one word come to me: the people who is going to make fantastic meetup.
And that's a little bit why this isn't a conference and it isn't an online conference. And what we are trying to do is to get that connection. and and kind of spend a bit of time sharing, and also human connection. It's really difficult just now to have human connection. So for me in the UK to see software developers sitting in an office, Hubert, is really weird because we're all at home
Oh yeah.
and we have been for 6 months.
Oh yeah. Well, the good thing is like Korean government is dealing with the COVID-19 relatively better, I think. So right now, but the situation is getting worse. Like we have about like 300 people positive every day. It's much more than before. We used to have like a 60, 50 every day, but it's getting worse. But anyway, still people can um, live their lives without like much disturbance.
Yeah.
So still it's okay in here.
Yeah, so that's it's really nice to see. Actually, it's strange. It's a bit weird. I'm kind of so when I keep watching television and there's kind of crowds of people together, and I'm going like, no, get away from each other. Or if you see a movie and someone high fives, it's like, oh no. And it's only been a short space of time. Hubert, what are the meetups like in Korea? Are there meetups? Are there agile groups?
So there are a couple of agile groups. Actually, there are not many. Well, most people who are involved in that those meetups are connected each other. And um, um, so I have been organizing the biggest agile event in Korea, which is Agile Korea Conference,
Mhm.
since 2011. So before, I mean, last year we had about like 600 people, but this year it will be pretty small due to COVID-19 situation. So we will have about like, I don't know, 500, 600 online only. And we are organizing only for like 1 day events and yeah,
Yeah.
something like it. And then every 2 months, the people are gathered to talk about agile from everywhere in Korea. Korea is small. People can be gathered in a one I mean like place instead of joining in online. So that's what we are doing pretty mostly.
Good, good. And in the festival, you can maybe have some events that are physical but shared, and that the rest of us can dial into and remember what it was like to meet people.
Yeah, that will be wonderful. And once when I heard about this festival, I think it was a really brilliant idea. Like this, uh, in under this kind of a very strange situation, people can be still gathered and then talk about what we can have as a like continuous improvement journey. So, uh, like whoever like came up with as the like first one to having this idea, I think I really appreciate, and then it's just special like to be um, part of that with you, everybody.
Ah, that's beautiful, beautiful. So one of the things is the want to do is to build bridges as well. So I think Miles had a great idea on the call here, which is we try and get the ambassadors to involve thought leaders in their areas. So are there any great speakers and thinkers on Agile in Korea that we could maybe bring to the world more?
There are many. Well, they're not that. I mean, famous if we think about kind of a major league, major league, which is about agile thing happening in US and Europe. Comparing to that, it's small, but there are many like who is actively working and spreading out the agile ways to his or her own company and other companies too. So yeah, I can introduce like a couple of people and I can reach out them very easily, and then I can
Excellent.
make a list. Yeah, I
So,
can make a
yeah, and if we can get them to register in the voluntary speaker directory on the
sure,
website,
sure.
and what that will mean is they'll be part of the communication, but they can also talk in other places. And so we want to, in the vision, we want to learn from the rest of the world. Yeah. So I know for a long time we've been kind of Western Europe, American centric, And 20 years ago, when you go back, I think it was the bulk of the people in the room were from North America, one European guy. So there wasn't much even sort of diversity of thinking then. There's a lot of diversity of methods, but not so much of thinking. And one of the things we really want to do is to see how Agile's being used around the world, because I think we can learn from that. And then the next bit in that is recording how it's getting used, so we can have that as a central as a central reservoir. Right, I've spoken too much. I'm going to hand over now.
I think, Scott, I want to, Hubert, it's Miles here from South Africa. So Hubert, one of the things that we're building as well is, and this is where the diversity comes in, is we've got about 10 patrons now. But again, the patrons are very Western focused. So it would be great if you know somebody sort of in the Asia Pac region that is a real leader in not necessarily Agile. While we were thinking, I'm never shy to ask anything. So I was thinking about, maybe even your CEO of Samsung, or somebody like that, just somebody that adds real gravitas to the festival, that promotes the festival, particularly in the Asia Pacific region, because we do obviously, as I'm in Africa, but we still have a very Western flavor to everything, and we're trying to not break it, we're trying to build on it. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, it's worse than just being Western. It's very Scottish.
Yeah. Well, I didn't want to say that. I mean,
yeah, no, I do.
You said you're going to win the World Cup in Qatar. You can't even beat Israel.
Yeah, we can't even play. We can't even play on a warm day.
Yeah, true. You guys will melt. You guys will melt in Qatar.
Yes. But on that part, as I said, the number of projects going on, and the stadium are built with the open AC facilities, by the way. Yeah, and it's fantastic. Last year there
Does
was
it come with
some.
snow?
That can be thoughtful. Wow, that's a good idea, by the way, Scott. Yeah, that's a fantastic idea, by the way. Yeah, it can be a different level altogether.
So for those of you around the world who don't follow Scotland, we actually won a game, so it was like top news. and our prize for winning the game is we get to play England, which will just be fun.
Yes, it will be.
Yeah, look, I mean, just to Sunil, so we had the Soccer World Cup in South Africa in 2010. What a phenomenal experience, just bringing people together from all over the world. Just a celebration. So you guys, I'm jealous. Well, maybe we'll have to come visit you. I see you work for Quatar Air, so you can arrange air tickets for all of us to come and watch the football with you. It'll be fun.
I would be sure and certain love to be your host here, and it will be my pleasure to host you here, guys. And sure and certain look forward to see you guys very soon somewhere, because for me, I always take the world is very small,
Yeah.
right? Yes, I believe COVID has put us apart due to physical distancing, but otherwise, I always trust that it's all about if we have willingness, we can meet very soon.
Yeah.
And of course, basically, when I talk about any of the sports World Cup and all these events, they are meant only for one purpose, in my view, that is bringing people together. The different culture, different mindsets, playing together, talking together, celebrating together, right? So that's all what
Yeah.
I think about.
When was it in South Korea, Hubert?
Yeah, say that again. 2002. You're saying, right?
Yeah.
The World
Yeah.
Cup, right? It was co-hosting with Japan.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. Oh well,
We
good.
went to Final Four. I don't know like how that happened, but anyway, it was a really fun time
Yeah.
to be around in Korea.
Yeah, good.
I would like to add one thing here. So, as Sunil has just said, that he'll be more than happy to host us, whoever I'm talking to, and in this festival, everybody either wants to visit India. So I say that I will be happy to host you, or if they say that why don't you come to this place, their country, and they are more than happy to host. So that is something which is a feeling of respect and a feeling of togetherness that is in everybody who is associated with this festival. So that is one. Second is we were talking about ambassadors. So we have around 40 to 50 ambassadors at this point, and then we expect to have almost 100. So can you imagine 100 countries connected to this festival? Such a huge festival it is going to be, and we'll be having people from everywhere, and you'll get to know people from those countries. And I'm doing those social media posts. So I keep getting those flyers from Grace, who I think is talking to you all directly, contacting you all as ambassadors. So she talks to me, and when I get those posts, when I read about all of you, the ambassadors, before putting those posts on social media, I'm really amazed to see. Earlier, I used to think that it is only IT or software where this agile thing exists, but then I have seen people from HR, people from hospitals, people from health. So there are so many domain now where agile is, and there was a one of the ambassadors who is a neuroscientist. So there's so many people who are adopting agile throughout the world now. So that is amazing.
Yeah, you're so right, Anurag. For the guys that don't know me, I run a business agility consulting company, and we're very involved with the Business Agility Institute, which is a global institute. And Eben Laborn, who's the head of that institute, one of his sayings always sticks with me is that you can only be as agile as your least agile department. Um, and what he means by that is that if you're not being, if finance is doing the normal annual budgeting, it's going to stop your agility. If HR is not supporting you in the way that they recruit and do org design and reward and performance, it's going to limit you. So I think, Anurag, what you're saying there is it's becoming, the business agility side is becoming so much bigger now. And especially since COVID was one of the definitions we have is it starts off with the ability to anticipate and adapt to your changing market environments. And that's for everybody. That's not just for IT and digital, etc. So you're 100% right.
Can I ask a question? Because I'm really interested in how agile is being adapted. And I've worked in India, and I've done some work in China and some work in Japan. And the experimentation part of agile certainly throws up some cultural problems. It does certainly in Europe with the idea of fail fast. I just wonder how you've been dealing with that kind of component in various parts of the East or APAC.
Well, if I give you a short answer, when I began like kind of agile movement, that was in back in 2004. Um, Everything was extremely difficult. Like everything was like should be planned in advance. So I mean, everything was. I mean, like if we try to do the project, we had to had a like firm budget plan, and also had to have like like calculated amendment that should be involved in the project, and um, the result was also about uh, what about waterfall, and well, everything was coming from top down. So like our company, my company Samsung, still is a hierarchical like structure is there, just what I can say differently is if I compare now to that like 15, 20 years ago, um, now people are embracing more idea about lean startup, which is we need to make something valuable fast. We need to identify the user's problem by experimenting
Mhm.
instead of planning everything upfront. So at least people value that, but still, like was it like Sonia mentioned, the annual budgeting is there. So like the entire structure, which should be coming along with the business agility, does not happen mostly, but still people are understanding little by little as the world is changing. That's kind of a status in here. But the older things are different. You know, startup companies, they are all agile. You know that, right? Because they have
Mhm.
to survive. But the big company like us needs like much more time than them. But still doing continuous improvement journey. So it's getting better. That's
Okay.
mm,
I'm just fascinated because of the, you know, whatever we do as a way of working is always affected by business culture, is always affected by locale, and often affected by language. You know, there may be something in historical language that means some parts of what we're trying to do are forbidden. So I just wanted to know.
In fact, that's a great question, Carl, because for me, how I take is agile is it's not about that you fail fast or learn fast, right? Because on the end of the day, in today's world, it's all about learning and how we adapt to those learning, how we reflect on those. And even if let's assume, because I see that discussion a lot of time, that agiles can't be flourish in the organization or in the community where we have hierarchy. Somehow, I don't miss again. It's my point of view. I don't agree to that. For me, it depends how those hierarchies are working. Are they working in way of servant leadership, or are they working in command and control? Right, that matters a lot. Right, because I have seen hierarchy, but it's other way around. It basically bottom up approach. The top leader, he serves to the next layer and so on. Right. And if we can create a sync between bottom up and top down approach, that is where agile happen actually. And how I preach about this whenever I talk, I says guys, if we are to be agile, we need to be agile top down, bottom up, left, right, inside out, outside in, right? That is how I say.
Excellent.
Even if you are doing a small part, even if you are doing a small improvement, but that need to be continuous every day. Even if you are improving 30 seconds, makes sense to me.
Okay.
Morning, Mercy.
Hi, good morning, everybody.
Good, good to see you.
Good morning,
You're like a
Mercy.
ray of sun. You're like a ray of sunshine in the morning.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
We're having a lovely chat this morning. I think sometimes the morning meetings are a little bit different than the evening ones. So the evening ones, sometimes we've had a hard day at work. I mean, I guess it's an evening one for Hubert.
thank you so much for taking time with us. I mean, people from Asia. So I believe now I am in Asia, and then Sunil, are you in Qatar? Is that what you said?
Yes, I'm in Qatar, Middle East.
And who else actually came from Asia?
Anurag.
Oh, so you from India, right?
I'm India. Yeah, I'm in
Mhm.
India.
Okay, so,
And then Miles and Mercy are from Africa.
all right.
And but Africa's so big. That's like saying yes.
So I need like one
Yeah.
folk who is like a thought leader in Japan. I think I can ask him to join too. Maybe
Wonderful.
for the next meeting.
Yeah, and again, just to just I think as ambassadors, the next thing is going to be weaving in these different events that build bridges. But I think we had a strategy meeting last night, and one of the things that came out of that was I think we might give a little bit more guidance to the ambassadors on how to build the bridge building, and what's going to make this this special. And it's going to be the corporation side, and I think it's going to be like the innovation from sharing ideas as well. I mean, again, it's we're looking for each of the each of the ambassadors to build culturally appropriate events. Yeah, with so that's the other thing. A lot of the a lot of what would be interesting locally as well. We want to get there, but also what would be interesting to move into and ideas and local pieces. I mean, even from this conversation today, I mean, I don't think I thought too much about what Agile in Qatar might be compared to Agile in Africa, or kind of compared to Agile in Korea. But I've got a sense of that from speaking here, and it'd be lovely to kind of explore some of that as well. Yeah, absolutely, and loving the debate this morning. And it's actually, when you go to a restaurant and they give you a little taster, a amuse bouche. This is like a amuse bouche of the festival, because
Yes.
just with a few people, we've got this wonderful, interesting conversation. What can we do with what can we do with 1,000 people?
And Scott, just adding to your be center of that, and that's why we always call it EMEA region. That is Europe, Middle East, and Africa region. So let's be really a center of that part, right? And that's where you can see maximum nationality in this area, right? You will see all culture, you will see all type of mindset, all type of people over here coming from different part of the world. And that's where when all those minds comes, right? I feel sometimes because when we have different culture, different mindset, these bring fantastic ideas, right? These bring something new which we have not thought about. And that is what all about agility, if I connect it back to agility, right? Agility is not about following a path like waterfall. No, just do this, do this. Agility is all about how we respond, right? How we adapt, how we learn from that, how we reflect. So, of course, our theme itself says that bridging the gap and bringing people together.
Yeah, yeah. Are you needing to go home, Hubert? Are you the last in the office?
No, there are still people there. And then, well, the thing is, like, my team has a huge release tomorrow, which is Saturday. That's sadly, but anyway, we have to use the time that people are not using our product much. So
Yes.
do
No,
we-
it's yeah. I know this. I know this from my first system when I was like 22. When we only got the factory at 2 a.m. before we
Yeah.
could do things. So yeah. I think one thing that unites all Agilists is working the weekend.
And yeah, it's so great to meet you, everybody. Probably since I have to work still, I mean, I have to get back to my guys in here. So if you guys excuse me, I need to say see you again, and thank you so much again. Thank you so much for taking your valuable time, great time, in early morning or at night. And let's talk more often from now.
Yeah. But
And
thank you for being
I'm
an ambassador. Okay, that's
Yeah.
there's a really to step up into leadership, to step into uncertainty, to make things and create things is such a gift. Thank you very much, Hubert.
all right. Thank you so much.
Thank
See
you,
you again,
Hubert.
guys.
Thanks,
Nice to
Hubert.
meet
Thanks,
you.
Hubert.
Right.
See you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Mercy. we're just coming
Hi,
to we're
I
as
have good news. Yeah,
excellent.
go on.
There you go. I like good
Okay.
news.
So I'm going to be interviewing the ambassador from South America. So the strategy is to do like the regional ambassador, get the country ambassador to join like 2, 3 people. So it makes it like an inclusive conversation. So it's not just coming from him. So Sunil, if you're interested, let me know so I can schedule it in the calendar for marketing. So you can just delegate. So next Wednesday is South America. It'll be live and multiple streamed on all the other channels as well.
Sure, Mercy,
Yeah.
of course we'll be doing. I always be interested
Okay.
in these things.
Sorry, Scott, you wanted to say something.
I
My
didn't.
apologies.
I didn't at all. I was just saying you've got the floor.
Sorry. I'll get back into the group. We'll launch the Agile Hero campaign next week, Scott, because I put a pause on the Agile men or women so that we can now start running with the Agile Hero. I actually like the question by Sat yesterday when he asked um, his guest, who is his Agile Hero?
Alistair, yeah, it was really nice.
Actually, like,
Is Mercy frozen or is it me?
No, I think it's
Uh,
Mercy.
See,
Yeah, I can see you moving, Scott.
We need some visual indicator on Zoom and conference calls like Meetup and that, so we know who's frozen.
And yesterday's marketing meeting, we had Chioma join us. And at one stage, I thought she had her background on because she didn't move for about 5 minutes. Sat in exactly the same position. And then I saw her move. So, yeah, as you say, you need an indicator that somebody's there.
I've got a friend, I can't possibly say who it is. It's Laz. Who takes a screen print of him sitting looking at the screen.
Wow, that's awesome.
Then goes away and makes a cup of tea. And as long as you got the wireless headphones, everyone thinks you're there.
Yeah.
And Scott, by the way, we can have video also. Sorry, Mercy, go ahead.
no. Sorry, network, Africa.
Actually, we can have, I believe you must be knowing that we can have video also as a background, right? So I
Yes.
can shoot my video and just play it and go for coffee.
I just nod my head occasionally. Yeah. It's interesting culturally with the client I'm at the moment. They never have the cameras on, so that's so it's almost like 9 to 5 all day. I'll be there with people with the cameras off. So I'll put my camera on, but I'm the only one, which is interesting because.
By the way, I also resonate same. I also say that number of people, I don't know, might be they shy away from cameras, or they feel, oh, come on, we are no too smart to come on video.
I think maybe sorry.
Yeah, it's a cultural thing. I mean, I've got a client in Turkey, and we were told before we started talking to these people that they don't use video. It's part of their, supposedly, I don't know if it's their company culture or their people culture. So not everybody is that keen on the video.
I think the other thing psychologically, if we're filming ourselves all day, it's quite stressful because it's almost like we're on television all day. So I do actually respect people that don't want to put the camera on. Especially if, I mean, my biggest sin is I'll be listening to a call and I'll be doing some other work. So if the camera's if the camera's off, it's less obvious that I'm kind of writing an email or readjusting one of my kind of visualization boards.
And generally, somehow that happens basically when we are not on camera. We tend to look into email address, right? Okay, let me sneak into emails. And moreover, camera off is still fine, but camera off is there, and then you are keep on talking. You don't hear back, right? So people don't, and then we have to ask, hey guys, anyone alive? Anyone there?
No, I think you've touched on a good point for the festival and thinking about the events we've got. So we can't just have talking head events, like going to a keynote where the speaker stands up and talks, or else this would be very low energy for everyone. Yeah. And it'll just be like a series of, video shows. So we do need, when we're thinking about things, is to build in participation and bringing people together and sharing more. And again, as as ambassadors, you need to stress that on the things that you're seeing. I think the other thing is, one of the things we want to do is get the ambassadors more involved in the not the quality control, but this the checking of events, just to make sure that. So again, we'll give you some guidance on this, but rather than central checking to make sure that this event's okay, I think the ambassadors should have control of that, of what's happening in the area, and then like the global ones, we can look at centrally. But yeah, I mean, that'd be one thing to look at is, are they lively enough? Are they interactive enough? What are the, what would people learn? Yeah, so we can have, I mean, again, we want this to be a little bit of a festival and a carnival and full of energy. And I honestly think at this time we're all a bit tired. It's all a bit difficult. Work's a bit difficult and everything else. And so trying to find the energy to create something new, it might be hard. So ambassadors need to be the cheerleader, for that kind of raising the energy.
Yes, coach, agree with you. And one of the things I tried in this, that instead of having only one speaker, that he or she is keep on talking, it's always what I have observed is having two people talking, sharing, interacting, being speaker is really helpful,
Yeah.
because those encourage discussion for other people also, right? What I've noticed is when only one people is speaker and he's talking, it's more toward that presentations, right? People take in that way. But if there are two people, they make it interactive on that topic, on that subject. And then from there, I've seen conversation happening. People will jump on, some of come up with the questions, and that is what I've tried, one of the things.
Yeah, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. Okay, that's us coming to the hour. Anyone want to say anything before we go and stop broadcasting?
No, I'm good. Good to meet
Excellent.
everybody.
Yeah.
Nice
Yeah.
meeting you.
Have
Thank
wonderful
you.
have wonderful days. Okay, and I hope you get ready for the weekend and get some rest at the weekend. Okay.
Yeah. See you guys soon. Have a
Love you
great
all.
day.
Love
Thank
you
you.
all.
Bye.
Bye
Bye.
bye.
Bye
Yes,
Love
bye.
you.
bye, everyone.